That's a uh, that's a very good question. In fact, I did not understand that much about commodity-based businesses till late 2008, and it dawned on me in at that time when I was looking at some of these businesses that commodity-based businesses can have incredible moats. Um, in order for them to have incredible moats, they need to be low-cost producers. So most commodities, they talk about which quartile of cost they are in. So the bottom. So let's take not the company with the ticker symbol zinc, but let's take the commodity zinc, for example. So if you look at the commodity zinc, the lowest cost producers in the world, who have the lowest cost mines, the bottom 25% of production may have a cost of, let's say, 40 or 50 cents a pound. The next quartile, which is the 25 to 50% producers, may have a cost of production of, let's say, 60, 70 cents a pound. Then the third quartile, you might get to 70, 80 cents a pound. And the fourth quartile, you might get to maybe close to 90 cents a pound, 85, 90 cents a pound. And so if zinc is trading like it's trading right now at about 85 cents a pound, and of course there are zinc producers who have a cost of $1 a pound. There are zinc producers who have a cost of $1.25 a pound, $1.50 a pound. It just goes on. You can have parts of the earth where you can produce zinc, but it's very expensive. And of course, so all those guys who have costs above 80, 90 cents a pound, unless their marginal costs for producing zinc are very low, they pretty much have shut down production at present prices. They're not able to produce because they would lose money on every pound they produce. So those mines are mothballed, if you will. And so if zinc demand increases, the price might go up to $1 or $1.05 or $1.10 a pound, and more production may come online. The person who has the greatest moat in that business is that mine that's producing at 40 or 50 cents a pound. So that mine is going to make money day in and day out. They're going to make money no matter pretty much what the state of the world economy is, because even if production drops, even if China goes into a tailspin, all kinds of things happen, it's still unlikely you get to less than 50 cents a pound. And so if you own a commodity business where you are the low cost producer and you have some pretty significant volumes you can bring on at that low cost, that is a fantastic business. That is a business that has as much of a moat as Coca-Cola has, or Geico has, for example. It is an enduring, durable competitive advantage. And so when I look at commodity businesses, one of the first things I look for is what quartile are they in their production. And if they are, generally speaking, and of course you also have to look at long continuums of where commodity prices are. So like, for example, in 2008, when we were making these commodity investments, most of the investments we made were in businesses that were first quartile producers. And in fact, prices had come down to the point where they were barely making money. But it was clear to me that at some point the economies would start functioning again. The world would go from a standing, completely stalled economy situation to a working economy globally. And as soon as you got to working economies globally, those prices would rise. And then these low-cost producers go from making very little money to making gobs of money. And of course, when they got to making very little money, their stock prices absolutely collapsed. I mean, they collapsed to the point like there was a company, Tech Cominco in Canada, blue chip miner. They're like the IBM of mining. Their stock price went from $50 to $4 in about 4 months because of they had some specific dynamics with leverage that was causing stress for them, but also commodity prices had come down a lot. But they had some of the lowest cost mines in the world. And so they had incredible assets. And in fact, so we invested at those $4 or $5 prices, and eventually the business went up to $40 and $50 in not that long a period. And so yes, I think that when we were talking about expanding circle of competence, I did not understand commodities very well before 2008. I got much better understanding, and I do feel that I've got some, let's say, tools in my arsenal now, which help me understand commodity businesses, which I didn't in 2003 or 2005. So that is somewhat helpful in the future, and such. And the same with when I studied like these autos, like GM and such. I understood some dynamics about the auto business that I never understood before, which again gave me some. Hopefully, will give me some advantage over time.